Honda have just filed patents for the Transalp 750. On top of that, they've released the Hornet 750 early. So are we able to figure out the specifications now, and when should we expect this bike to be released? Let's find all that out now. Let's do a quick recap of what we know for those of you that have been living under a rock. We got the first indication of the Transalp 750 with a trademark of the name in the US. Then we got the trademark in Japan, which not only told us the name, but the size of the motor being 750cc. Then we got those juicy spy shots of Honda out shooting their media package in Europe with what looked like a very polished and frankly a production ready Transalp 750. Quickly after that, we got the release of the Hornet 750 motor, which was largely speculated to be the same platform that they were going to use with the Transalp 750, given that Honda and a lot of the Japanese motorcycles make modular motorcycles these days. So that brings us up to speed with the patents. It confirms that this is indeed a modular platform and that the Hornet 750 and the Transalp 750 are the same platform at the heart. And what media outlets are saying is that that definitely looks like a 21 18-inch wheel setup on the Transalp 750. So that is fantastic news, as that's exactly what we want off-road. Other obvious stuff like the longer travel suspension over the Hornet 750, of course that's going to be the case. It also has a longer wheelbase, not only because of those bigger wheels, but what also looks to be a redesigned swing arm compared to the Hornet 750. We can also see the aesthetic design here in the patents. Generally, this is the part that you don't take too seriously, but it does look very similar to what we saw in the spy shots. I think this does confirm that this is the Transalp 750 that we're going to see. What we saw in those spy shots is the real deal. Now, of course, we can never be 100% sure, but I think with these patent filings looking very similar, I think it's almost a sure bet. This brings us to the Hornet 750, which was released in Germany, much to a lot of people's surprise. Everyone thought this was going to be released at the bigger motorcycle show in Milan in November, and has led a lot of people to speculate what Honda will be offering instead if the Hornet is no longer the halo bike for ICMA in November. So I think it's a good chance that next month in November, yes, that's only weeks away, that we could be seeing the Transalp 750 in the flesh, which is pretty damn exciting. Because of the release of the Hornet 750, we also get some rough ballpark figures for some of the specifications we could expect for this Transalp 750, namely the weight. The Hornet 750 weighs 190 kilos wet. With most adventure bikes based off a modular design, they're almost always, if not always, heavier than their road bike counterparts. So I would expect the Transalp 750 to be 10 or so kilos heavier than the Hornet 750. I would absolutely love it if it was as close to that weight as possible, coming in sub 200 kilos. But I really think this will be roughly the same weight as a Yamaha T7, with all those extra plastics and the heavier engineering that goes into making an adventure bike, plus the bigger tank this bike will probably have. It all leads to it being a heavier bike than the Hornet. So I think we should set our expectations at roughly what the Yamaha T7 weighs. Also, I think that very nice TFT display with smartphone connectivity and voice controls will obviously be on the Transalp 750 as well. The headlight on the Transalp and the Hornet are the same, and a lot of features are said to be carried across. And this leads to an interesting take that Cycle World had on the motor, which will be shared between both bikes. In the Hornet, it makes 91 horsepower and 75 newton meters of torque, all fairly high in the rev range. Now, it was my hope that they would retune that for an off-road setting, but Cycle World is saying that Honda might try and cut costs here and release the motor at exactly the same specification in the Transalp 750. Now, Cycle World's argument obviously is that cost-cutting measure, but another thing that could lend credence to this idea being a reality is think about it from a marketing perspective. 91 horsepower is significantly more than what the Yamaha T7 offers, so that could be a really good marketing strategy. I could see that happening. Really, I could go either way here. My hope is that they will retune it. The other interesting thing here with the Hornet is the price. The Hornet, despite being more modern and with better performance than the MT-07, actually undercuts it in price. Ergo, that the Transalp 750 will undercut the price of the Yamaha T7, which I think is a great move. To my horror, the prices have just gone up and up and up and just do not seem to be stopping. I think we need to re-establish competitive pricing in the adventure bike market. I think there's a lot of stuff stacking up for this to be a very popular middleweight adventure bike with that competitive pricing, the weight, the power, and the fact that people have been waiting so long for a middleweight adventure bike from Honda, and they can leverage the cult following that the Transalp name has. And I'm really looking forward to the bike. I think with all the information we have laid out in front of us now, it's a fairly safe bet that this is going to be a decent middleweight, decently priced, and that we're going to see it very soon. But I'd love to know your thoughts. Is this Honda Transalp 750 stacking up to be the bike you want, or is it frustrating you? Are you worried it's going to be too heavy, or it's not going to be as off-road focused as you want, or maybe not as road focused as you want? Put your thoughts down below. And if that's not enough to satiate your adventure addiction, check out my video on the KTM 890 Adventure R for 2023, because I think KTM have irrevocably changed the motorcycle industry forever. And don't forget, guys, to hit that like button. Think about subscribing if you like what I do here and want to show your support. And until next time, guys, don't forget to stay shiny side up, and I'll see you in the next one.